Greetings, fellow galactic mundane supervillains. That's not a great intro at all. I can do better than that. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And welcome to the Main Street Cinema Fan Fest, the show where we discuss the finer points of fan filmmaking. Right, Dragon? I can't do James Earl Jones. I'm sorry. Look, whoever does the voice of Chad in this series,
That's
Dragon,
Matt Sloan. That's the guy who plays Clint. That's the voice of Darth Vader.
Dude, just first of all, we're going to be talking all about Chad Vader Season 1 in anticipation for Rogue One. You know, Season 1, Rogue One, Vader, everything like that. But let me just give it up right now. Matt Sloan, you said?
Matt Sloan does the voice. Basically, both creators that play Darth Vader. One's the body and one's the voice, much like it actually goes.
It's amazing. The voice is absolutely amazing. It sounds so much like James Earl Jones. It's incredible.
Of course, you know what's great about this. I guess we'll get into it. Let's save it for backstory a little bit. So. Anyway, right, we're talking about Vader.
Yeah, Vader in general, Dragon. Chad Vader, of course, is the famous YouTube web series. I would wager to say it's among the more popular Star Wars parodies on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's been around for a long time. Of course, we'll get more into the background on it a little bit later and kind of the summary on it. But, Dragon, before we get into the nitty-gritty of Chad Vader Season 1 in anticipation for Rogue One, let's talk about Vader, the man, the myth, the legend, the symbol, kind of our nostalgia for Vader. So, Dragon, I'm sure I've told this on various different podcasts. I'm not sure if you remember, but my family owned a Halloween store, and that's how I came into the possession of the dreaded hipster Donald mask that you love so much. We also had some Star Wars stuff. Dragon, I am confident that at some point we did own the little helmet thing that Jeremy wears in this. It's just that has long since been sold off, but I am confident that we owned that at one point. But point being, Dragon, it's kind of fascinating because as a child, I saw all these masks of various characters that I knew nothing about except for like what they looked like in mask form. A couple that I can list off the top of my head. Spock, you know, it was just like the Leonard Nimoy with the pointy ears, you know, and I was just, ooh, the pointy ear guy. Alf was another big one. You know, you had like Alf, like, you know, of course, the big trunk and the fur and everything. But Dragon, the big mystique was the Vader helmet. Like, I saw the Vader helmet and I studied the Vader helmet as a little kid before I ever saw the movies. Now, when I was a kid, of course, I've told this story before, Dragon. First movie I ever saw in theaters was The Lion King. Second movie I ever saw in theaters was Toy Story. That was when I was like 4 years old. And then, Dragon, the Star Wars Special Editions came around. And that was my next big movie-going experience. That's where I got to see Darth Vader on the big screen. And it blew my mind. I was like, oh my god, it's the dark helmet guy. Oh my god.
Not to be confused with Rick Moranis.
It's kind of funny, Dragon, because as a kid, I kind of identified Darth Vader as Dark Helmet. I'm not even joking. That's what I'm like, Dark Helmet! But yeah, no, it's just like, and then of course seeing Empire Strikes Back, the whole like, I am your father thing. Like, it just, you know, what can I say? It's like, you know, Vader is a legend. Of course, the prequels fucked him up. Dragon, I am in like the camp.
Why you gotta come crashing down at the very beginning? Come on.
I'm just saying. Well, hold on. It's Star Wars, so I'm gonna kind of like, it's like a 3x structure. Okay, right now it's like the prequels fucked Vader up. I don't want to get into it. We all know why. You know, I like how this special addresses it in a very funny joke. Now here's the new hope of it all, Dragon. The new hope is Rogue One, and that's, you know, we'll get into it. But Rogue One is the ultimate chance for Lucasfilm to redeem itself for Vader, to finally give Vader like a proper cap off on the big screen. So we'll talk more about Rogue One anticipation towards the end, Dragon. But what is your Vader nostalgia?
Well, I think like many people, you know, first glimpse into Vader is the visual before anything else. You know, it's just he's visually the coolest villain. You know, just but what's so cool about Vader is here to talk about in general a little bit, built to nostalgia. Just, you know, the coolest thing about Vader in general is that while he is visually the coolest villain, that's like why he's like the #1 many villain countdown list. At least in like Bravo, I think had him as #1. Like you get various number one spots because again, just that iconography. But secondly, I love that underneath it all, he's kind of like the Marvel villain in terms of he has the complex villain story you sympathize with. You know where they're coming from. You know why Vader's on the wrong side. He's a series of kind of bad decisions, but with good intentions have kind of led him there. And I don't really, I'm not going to go how that was communicate, but more importantly, the arc of the original trilogy is what I'm mainly referring to. Is that you understand him more so like okay, there's more layers to this guy. We see him as we all see him at first glance in New Hope. It's like okay, he's the imposing villain with all the cool voice and kind of the cool things where you can choke people to life across the room or all that sort of cool stuff. And then over time we get the
yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. He starts off basically he's kind of like almost an intelligent sort of Frankenstein-ish figure where he's mostly just powerful more than anything else. But then over time, like you say, with Empire we get the big twist, and he is more threatening than ever at the end of Empire on an emotional level even. And then Dragon, of course, if you want to bring it all around, it comes back around to Return of the Jedi. And I think one of the big reasons why, of course, I don't feel this anymore as an adult, but as a kid, Return of the Jedi was my favorite. I gotta say, of course, we've talked about it before. The Vader and the Luke stuff, I mean, say what you will about the Ewoks and the Jabba's Palace stuff and whatever. The Vader and Luke stuff in Return of the Jedi is sublime, and it's some of the most captivating stuff that Star Wars has ever accomplished.
Oh, yeah, it's really good. And that's what I'm talking about. You get all that under... It's kind of like as you peel back the mask and the look, in a way, you kind of get deeper and there's more layers to the guy. And I think the series is very much kind of in staying true to that. There's more complex layers, more in the comedic light, bear in mind, but still there are like layers to this guy underneath like that initial kind of like, oh, I know this guy. He's a big imposing villain. But yeah, you have to wonder why he's imposing. And you have to wonder what drove him to that. Or like, is there more to him? And you get to know that over time. And again, Vader pretty much, again, I've mentioned this before, so I really don't have like a huge thing to go into. But, my thing with Star Wars is I saw Empire, I believe I saw Empire Dreams first. And just kind of like, I knew Star Wars in the collective, like, again, visually, much like with the introduction of Vader. Like, you've seen it around. You've heard of, if you've heard of Star Wars, you've seen R2-D2 at some point. You've seen C-3PO, R2-D2, and Darth Vader at some point in your life, even if you never saw Star Wars movies.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Then I saw Empire Dreams. It's really kind of, piqued my interest of like, oh, wow. Then years later, watch Star Wars films, and Family Guy at a certain point reinvigorates my looking into Star Wars and becoming really. That's why I really became a Star Wars fan after I saw the Blue Harvest. That's when I really dived deep into it. That's like when I got into more of the prequel territory and stuff.
Dragon, you and I have had this conversation before, but I think we can both agree that Blue Harvest was essentially the peak of Family Guy.
Yes, but I'm saying like they weren't hopeless. After they had a couple good seasons that were at least tolerable, and like there was still.
No, but I'm saying like they were tolerable, and Blue Harvest I feel was the last thing they did that was brilliant.
Honestly, yes. Yeah, I think you're right about that. Blue Harvest is pretty much the more I think about it, because I used to think Empire was still really good, and their Empire, don't get me wrong, it's better than their Jedi. But still,
okay. I mean, yeah, Jedi is kind of weak. Empire's okay, but I think Blue Harvest itself is just really wonderful. It still holds up.
Yeah, because remember Blue Harvest, and in the big barometer of that, before we go on a whole Family Guy tangent, we're going to not do that. But I just want to mention one thing, is that with that, the reason you kind of had a little bit of decline with the Family Guy ones is that they're really invested. That's the first time they do it, and they're really committed to doing it. So that's why Blue Harvest is probably the best, at least one of the funniest out of the three. And then over time, it's basically Fox is then kind of, in a way, basically suggesting that they keep doing it because, again, it's a money-making machine because people love Star Wars. People at that time, like Family Guy, kind of mixed the two together. And basically, they had Seth MacFarlane over a barrel with the whole, maybe we won't do Ted if you don't. Basically, what they kind of said, well, they allowed him to do Ted in exchange for more Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. All right, anyways.
So back to this. Again, we kind of talked about Vader again. Vader's one of those iconic characters in cinema, and just, gotta love the guy.
Sure.
And again, you get layers with Vader, and this show is all about kind of the layers of someone who looks like Vader. So specifically, here's the premise. Let's get into kind of the premise and backstory. Start first. You want to get into the backstory of the premise first?
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Probably the backstory leading. No, set up the premise first. So
here's the premise. So it's not exactly Darth Vader as you imagine. Don't get me wrong, it's a Vader. So apparently, Darth Vader, through all of Star Wars, has a secret brother we never knew about. So Darth Vader has a less famous brother named Chad. And Chad got into a biking accident, and which sent him into a volcano. Just kind of weird family coincidence. I don't know what to tell you. Basically, he kind of landed into a volcano, got badly burnt and all sorts of bad stuff. He was sent a suit by his loving brother Darth Vader. Sent him a suit identical to what he's got going for him. To keep him alive. Can't take the suit off, really. Some bad stuff happens, and Chad, his day-to-day life post that accident, he proudly runs the day shift at Empire Market. And he's plagued by the mundane dilemmas we all face, especially those in middle management.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I guess let's get into the background then.
Yeah, so the background is pretty simple. The series creators of this are Aaron Yonda. I keep wanting to say Yondu, but no, it's Aaron Yonda. And Matt Sloan. And the two of these guys together are Chad Vader. Aaron Yonda is the body performance of Chad, and the voice is Matt Sloan, who also is the antagonist plays the antagonist of the show. If you ever want to know what the guy looks like, he's Clint in the show. They did this in 2006. This was a year after Revenge of the Sith. And it's a year after Revenge of the Sith, and basically these are two guys from Wisconsin. They're Star Wars fans, and they do this fan series on initially on their local kind of cable network. And eventually they kind of get canceled at a certain point, so then they take it to YouTube, and there gets the big following, and eventually wins the Star Wars Fan Film Awards, and gets a lot of notoriety, and we see it in People versus George Lucas here and there. You see the thing, and Matt Sloan, interestingly, the success of the show has brought him great fortune. Matt Sloan, the voice of Darth Vader, he voices one of my favorite kind of recent iterations of Star Wars. He plays Darth Vader in the Lego Star Wars animated stuff.
Oh, okay, nice.
So that's why it's kind of interesting. I've kind of had a space in between when I've seen this and when I've seen those Lego stuff. That Vader is really good. I know it's. No, I know I've heard before. And I looked up Matt Sloan just to get prepared for this. And oh my God, it's the same Vader they got on Lego Star Wars.
And like I said, man, the voice is just impeccable. It sounds absolutely so on point with James Earl Jones. It's just like, just the implications, the timing. It's just so good.
Like, what if you get James Earl Jones to say anything?
Essentially. Okay, so you want to start going through the episodes then?
Sure. So we're going to do here, folks. It's 8. I implore all of you before this to go watch the first season. It's 8 episodes. They go by real fast. Not counting credits, it's less than 5 minutes.
I would say overall it probably takes about a little over a half hour to go through the whole thing.
Yeah. Again, 8 episodes.
So about 40 minutes, roughly.
Yeah, roughly 40 minutes, or about like 5. Maybe a little bit over. Not again. Counting credits. Credits kind of take like a minute or two of that, so it's hard to tell you. Regardless, it's a quick watch. You'll have a lot of fun, and we're gonna break it down right here because we honestly, in retrospect, probably could have gone through beat by beat and still been pretty good because we usually handle like hour stuff. But regardless, we're just gonna go by it.
Yeah, that's true. We should have thought about that.
In retrospect, I forgot how long they were. Okay, I forgot. Again, it's been a while. But I mean, again, pretty much we're gonna be covering the highlights, pretty much all the fun talking points for each episode. Kind of like the inside, but basically the Breaking Bad DVDs where they have like the inside features, kind of covering the highlights and kind of making up stuff. So that's kind of what we're doing here, breaking down the highlight reel. And kind of
inside Chad Vader.
And mainly the thing we're also doing this is kind of tracking the arc of the arc of Walter White and those insights. We're tracking the arc of Chad Vader.
Mm-hmm. And what I want to say right off the bat is I think really the best part of the series, of course, is the dynamic between Chad and Jeremy, Commander, whatever his name is.
Wickstrom.
That's the thing. It's like I have it right in front of me, but I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
It's Wickstrom. It kind of call him Jeremy sometimes, but it's Wickstrom.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so first
regardless,
episode.
it's a great dynamic. So just
it is. So first episode, Jeremy doesn't come into episode 2. So we're on episode 1, Galaxy Not So Far Away. Of course, is our pilot episode. This is the status quo setup, which it's a good one, just kind of establish. This is what Chad Vader, kind of storytelling 101. Chad Vader is him going day to day. We know what's Chad Vader's usually kind of happy-go-lucky day looking like. So and to get the premise of the show, which is pretty much a lot of kind of Darth Vader quotes and Star Wars quotes kind of finagled into a kind of middle management. It's basically what if Vader quotes are worked in kind of day-to-day life in middle management, but a guy really takes pride in his work, which I love that angle on it. That Chad Vader, he really loves his job.
Dragon, can I just lay some truth bombs on you right now?
Okay.
I think Chad Vader might just be a little bit of a setup to Kylo Ren in certain ways.
How so?
characterization-wise. Well, okay, there's a couple ways. First of all, his overall dedication to his job, and also the temper tantrums he has with his lightsaber, most notably. We'll get into it with one specific moment.
I know what you're talking about with that temper tantrum.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. When I saw that, I was just like, wait a minute.
Yeah, but this came first. This
I know it did. It came way earlier, yeah.
So again, we get kind of the premise, and we kind of like a lot of clever kind of Vader quotes kind of woven into it. And I like this one sets us up as kind of we get to know Chad a little bit. We like him. He's endearing. It's like, Chad, he really cares, and like when he's doing this really humble. Like, we relate to Chad, and like we've always basically it's like Chad has a really bad day at work. He's asking someone to like do the shift on the weekend or something.
Tammy, I need you to work an extra shift on Saturday.
No, and then we have the dynamic with Randy. What do you think of Randy?
Randy's a pretty good character because he's very sympathetic towards Chad to a certain extent, but he has his limits with him. And I do like the plot twist to why he was giving the other character such an advantage, which we'll get into. Clint.
I'm going to warn you about this, Tiki, because I don't know if maybe in the future we'll talk about the other 3 seasons or not. Again, we can space them out. It doesn't really, let's not put in granite quite yet, but let me say this is the best Randy is in the series, because Randy kind of goes through a weird, wacky Mr. Toad's Wild Ride through the whole series.
Does he?
But this to me is my favorite take.
My least favorite character in this is Clint. I mean,
that's intentional, though.
I understand that, but it's just like he's a little intolerable to me. Anyways.
But you're right. I just love that Randy is kind of on Chad's side of it. They have Chad has seniority, which means 2 of these guys worked together for a long time. He's been calling him Emperor for God knows how long now.
Yeah, that's great. It's kind of like the running gag, the my master. It's just Randy, okay, Chad? Don't kneel. It's weird.
Yeah, he seems so nice. He's just trying to. That Randy seems like a nice. He seems like the boss you'd like to have.
Totally. I agree. Yeah.
Then we meet this young lass. We meet Clarissa. No, not the one that not the one who controls the universe, but the other one,
or the one who explains it all.
No, I meant that
one. I was wondering if you were like referring to Sabrina the Teenage Witch with the one who controls the universe.
No, I meant that one. I just thought it was like I forgot the line.
No, Clarissa.
I wasn't really big into Clarissa, right? I just remember the name.
Dragon, sing it with me. Na 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 na. You don't know it at all. Nah.
I told you, Clarissa's not my.
I'll spare you.
Anyway, so we have Clarissa, and then basically Vader's trying to chat her up here with the. And this is a running gag, goes through the whole series, I think, because this is kind of his big Death Star project, the laser checkout system.
And it's great.
That's kind of the idea.
What I love about this series in general, of course, Dragon, we've gushed about this before. It's mundanity at its finest, it's also kind of like illogical logic at its finest as well. It's just those two mixed together. It's just like this guy that's going around, it's essentially a guy in a Darth Vader costume running around a grocery store. I got to think the filming on this was really fun. Just the visual, just watching the Darth Vader costume walk around. But, no, you're right. It's definitely what I love about the whole series, the whole premise is just how they take how Chad has such mundane goals. He just wants all he wants is to be the best employee he could be for this grocery store and to make the grocery store as good as it can run. It run as functionally as possible. So essentially the grocery store is his Death Star in a way, or his Star Destroyer. So
absolutely.
So that is just such a great premise to me. Just, it's like, it is just the total inner workings of the grocery store market, So anyways, yeah, go ahead.
I just want to take a moment to mention this. The introduction to the they kind of play with the intros to each episode. So sometimes it's kind of the main one we get at the beginning here, where basically it's famous. And I love how this comes back at the very end, which we'll get to. I just love the whole. He makes they use the Force to kind of get the fruit to get into his hand. He makes the apple get into his hand. It's basically it's like that little den. It's on guitar. It plays the Imperial March. It's all nice, calm, and passive as we just kind of review it. Again, it kind of explains the core rule of the show. It's Darth Vader, but he's the day shift manager of a grocery store. You get all told visually to you. It's really nice.
Sure.
Let's see. So again, we mentioned Clint. I just love the idea that Darth Vader has this very mundane, like the shift managers just don't like each other. It's just the day shift manager doesn't
I actually kind of know why I inherently don't like Clint. It has nothing to do with like the way the character's written or anything. It's just, it's kind of like it hits a little home with me. Like I have had anxiety with coworkers in the past and whatnot. So I know I think that Clint kind of like they pay. Well,
he is based off someone from their own lives. That's the thing. They based it off like a bosses they've had.
Okay, well that makes sense then, because for me it's like I think Clint is cartoonish to a certain extent, and they definitely exaggerate him, but just the dynamic of the coworkers who don't like each other, that's real, man.
It's kind of like a real guy.
Real.
It's like a real prickish guy in middle management mixed with Biff Tannen. It's pretty much the best comparison. It's kind of like this is the closest we're gonna have the Darth Vader versus Biff.
Oh no! Oh.
So again,
Marvel,
if you had like
Marvel, get on that.
So seriously, think about it. If you had an actual thing of Darth Vader versus Biff, but you couldn't do that, so you did it on a fan film budget, what you would have is kind of the next best thing. You'd have Clint, and you'd have Chad Vader. So again, they're kind of Vader versus Biff.
Oh God. Okay. So
Anyway, so Spaz is almost done the first one. He's going to get Clint again. Importantly, and again, this episode I spent a lot of time on this one mainly because this one is very important symbolically. It goes a really full circle with the last episode. That's why I spent a little bit of time on this. Then the ending is very sympathetic, and then Vader he pulls out the lightsaber, a little impulsive. He's just trying to kind of make a show of force. Clint's really pushing his button. Clint's a jerk, so it's worth it. Clint's eating a banana of all things, and he defeats him in the most humiliating of ways. And as Chad here, he slips on a banana peel. And those are all real falls, by the way. Whenever he falls in the series, that's an actual fall. Going on, they intend the plan on falling, but that was he actually slips and falls in that shot.
No, yeah, it's really good. I think the series all the way through has really good kind of practical pratfall kind of humor.
Right. Anyway, let's go next. It's importantly we end on a sympathetic note with Chad. So then we go to the date, and the date, of course, he has asked Clarissa on the date in the previous episode.
No, it is totally not. I love how he goes back and forth on it. No, it's not a date. It's a meeting. We're simply talking business. All right, yes, it is a date. It's totally a date.
Yeah, and here we get to know Chad a little bit more. We learn his origin as I went through already in the premise.
Oh God, I just love that a volcano is involved, but it's involved in the most mundane way that it could possibly be.
I just love that. I just love the correlation. It was a bicycle and a volcano.
It's great.
Not a motorcycle, as she's curious about. Oh my God, it was like a motorcycle explosion. No, it was a bike and a volcano.
And I love how basically the only mention we ever get of Vader, like Darth Vader, is when he's like, at least in the first season, is when he's like, oh, and I have a famous brother, by the way, and he sent me this suit, and I have to live it.
That's the illogical logic right there. That's the idea of, okay, well, if Vader did have a brother, he would want to make sure. So Vader's probably like asking Palpatine, Lord Emperor, please, I have a brother, and he's not doing well health-wise. Could you please pull some strings, take it out of my Christmas paycheck or something? Can you please give me a startup for a suit or something? Well, I suppose. No Christmas fruitcake for you, Vader. Anyway. So then we have. I love the whole. It opens with kind of him. This fun idea of Chad. He's quailing customers. He's quailing this customer trying to complain about stale potato chips with quotes. He's kind of he's like using like the kind of the Palpatine asking use your hate to strike me down, that sort of thing. And then he just weirds him out and he goes away. And then importantly here we meet Jeremy Wickstrom, the best part of this show.
Oh yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, I forgot he wasn't in the first one, but I really loved Jeremy throughout this whole thing. He has a really great arc through the whole series, by the way. He becomes more powerful as the thing goes on.
Mm.
And it's anyway. Yeah, right. Then we have the one coworker's got to chastise him, like it's Leroy or something. God, not Leroy. It's into the Leon.
I don't think it's that important.
Regardless, he says, "It was a date, and I'm in love." Just I love the hopefulness behind that delivery on Chad. We have these again. You empathize so much with Chad. You like the guy.
And then also, I love the moment where where he's like, "I see much potential in you, young one," and he gets really excited with the lightsaber. You know, he's like swinging the lightsaber around, and then he just kind of makes a mess.
Oh yeah. And then we see basically all of this stuff that's going well for Chad. And he's in love. He's training to apprentice. All's going well. He clean up this mess out. Sorry, it's really funny. Anyway, he basically this is all to set Chad up for a fall via Clint here. See what Clint does. Basically, I love that we end in a change in status quo. You know, Clint's just kind of behind Chad's back. He's trying to kind of chat up Randy and basically, you know, give him one more chance. And Chad's just, yeah, he's he's a little overjoyed, and he's kind of doing his little hand thing where he can basically look on people using like the blue kind of holograph thing.
I love how he just doesn't think that's an invasion of privacy at all. He's so childlike about how it's like, "Oh, I'm not doing anything wrong. I do this all the time."
Oh yeah. Anyway, so I really do respect that they, you know, right after episode 1, we've established how it usually goes directly to the next episode. That's when they really use their time very economically, very well. So the next episode is like, okay, change status quo. You're on the night shift. Third episode, night shift. It very much it's like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest after dark in a grocery store. Pretty much like all the crazies come out at night.
Oh yeah.
This one, 3 and 4 might be my favorites because I love all the night shift stuff. That's where all the funny stuff happens to me. You know, it's like Chad's pretty much the straight man to the night shift loonies, and we have Lionel. Lionel's really funny. Lionel's the guy who works the registers, and you know, it's like I have like the very few people that work at the night shift. You know, Lionel has so many great lines, so many great quotes, like, you know, the whole, "You just saved a lot."
And you know what, Dragon? I get a kick of that from a retail point of view, just because that is totally something that happens when I go to the grocery store. You know, it's like they'll just be like, "Thanks for shopping at Lucky's. You saved $15.55," and they just seem like, you know, on the outside they seem happy, but on the inside it's like, I don't want to talk shit about them or anything. You know what I mean? It's like, but anyways, I can just relate to it. It's very realistic. You know what I mean? Like I said, a great thing about this show is just, a great thing about this show is just kind of like how it takes kind of the mundanity of working in retail, but just it opens it up just a little bit to where it's just heightened enough to be kind of cartoony.
It's like, how can you make Tiki? It's like the very simple question: how can you make the most boring of tasks more interesting? Add Star Wars.
Exactly.
Simple. Add Star Wars.
You know what? It's almost kind of like the old analogy of like, oh, such and such actor could read the phone book and it'd be interesting.
Pretty much, there's only one thing you can't make interesting with Star Wars. It's talk of trade federations and taxes.
Yes.
The only thing it's like the only thing you can't make better with Star Wars. It's unbelievable. It's like the one thing. It's apparently transportation tax and that sort of, all the galactic politics is the one thing you can't make better.
I would probably enlist Lin-Manuel Miranda for that task. You know, it's like, if anyone can make politics interesting, it's Lin-Manuel Miranda. But I digress.
Anyway, so now here, episode 3 is where we get Wingstrom's helmet, the awesome helmet that we were talking about earlier. And this again, Tiki visually, and this is going to play in my next one. I don't want to not spend too much time. I love Wingstrom here with this helmet. It's the iconic image of the show for me. It's like Vader next to this one, his happy-go-lucky sidekick. With again, I mentioned before, there's a Darth Vader comic out there that it was about him and this character called Dr. Alpha, and basically it's this young girl, and Vader teamed up with people can be really good. And that comic recently has been proof of that, and this absolutely is proof. Like, you know, who you pair Vader up with is very important. Like, you know, you could have really interesting dynamics. So here, it's just they have this ridiculous
like Vader and Luke for episode 5, and then Vader and the Empire for episode 6. Vader and Obi-Wan for episode 4.
Yes, because instantly you always have contrast with Vader, a character in all black and black and red. You instantly have contrast, but also again, it's like this guy who's like all decked out, and you have like kind of his protege. It's kind of like, you know, Vader's sidekick. Vader gets a Robin, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it really is wonderful.
Speaking of Robin, what we have here, one of my favorite elements, probably, if I had to pick a favorite, probably might be this one, just because of this one bit here. I love this idea. They're dealing with these ridiculous, absolutely all the most ridiculous stuff is in the night shift stuff. You know, all these ridiculous problems, and they treat it like they put like a buddy cop vibe on it with these two. Just saying, Lord Vader, there's a guy sleeping on the meat, and then Vader just again, Chad hears with all the conviction. Well, again, this is what it feels like Starsky and Hutch in a grocery store, but with Star Wars. It's just like, oh, let's go. Let's get on. Yeah, let's hit it. Yeah, that's the line. Oh, it's great. I love that. And then, they wake the guy with the meat.
You cannot sleep in this establishment.
Oh yeah, and then
there's the Vader versus the shoplifter.
Oh yeah, that's great. I love again. Winkstrom just this. Jeremy's awesome. Where he's just cute, and then Jeremy runs to him, and he pushes him back, and he runs the other way at full speed. I'm sorry, Lord Vader. And then the Vader takes him out with the Force, and then basically, I'm just gonna get back to our story. Clint just stopped by to kind of so as though it's just kind of like ha ha ha. Look who's at the night shift now. Ha ha. Mm-hmm. Basically, this is in terms of our story. Chad Vader, he tries to be civil to him by saying not. Go away, Clint, not now. And then Clint just pushes him, and basically the conflict escalates to a kind of a double, kind of like, choke off.
Sure.
And then,
and also keep in mind, this episode, Clarissa kind of stands him up on the second date, so that's also kind of a motivating factor here.
And at the end, we find out why, because, in addition to we find out why, she was kind of either not interested, but then we find out absolutely the reason why she's not going to be available. Clint has stolen the woman Chad has feelings for, and Chad is decimated emotionally. Next episode, Dog in a Store. Dog in the Store, yeah. Oh, yeah, this has probably the funniest Chad Vader delivery. So as Chad Vader's situation gets worse, I love that as things get bad for Chad, things get more ridiculous for the store. I love that dichotomy. So then we have then Lord Vader, there's a dog in the store. A dog. They're playing with this. It's so sitcom-y and ridiculous, It's just a dog.
Also, just really quick, I love the goat sacrifice guy. I don't know his name.
Yeah, that's Hal. Hal is okay. How's the guy with the goat's milk and the chicken sacrifice and all that stuff?
I love the line, he just gets so offended. He's just, your words! I don't care how your words assaulted me, sir!
Yeah, but much more laid back. I don't care how your words assaulted me, and I'm not going to talk at it, so...
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. Then we get Weird Jimmy in this episode. Basically, he serves as kind of a twisted kind of. I always like to think of he's kind of this emperor-like figure. He's kind of the weird guy who kind of is talking to Chad Vader, but it's not necessary. I forget. I don't believe they go in that direction. My point is, Weird Jimmy, in a way, in this episode, does serve that role, in that he shows Vader what the night shift does to managers. He used to be a manager, worked the day shift, moved to the night shift. He went crazy, and now he's a janitor. And importantly, he actually
have to be like this. You always have a choice.
Now,
you're me.
So that line works on two levels, because one, again, I think it plays into somewhat of an emperor dynamic, at the very least for this season, is that line is very important for Chad's arc. You always have a choice, which is a really great line, because this motivates all of Chad's actions going forward. Especially you always have a choice. You don't have to put up with this. Essentially, that what leads to the end of this episode. So after a hilarious a lot of dog comedy, chasing the dog.
Oh my god! Just like I said, that must have been so delightful to shoot. Just the image of Darth Vader just running around chasing the dog,
and it's so cute seeing Vader get pals. I love he's not mad at the dog when he catches him. He's just like the dog's like licking him.
You did not pay for that.
Well, and then it's Hal. Not Hal. Then Lionel, the guy at the counter, says, "Oh yeah, that's my dog." So let's see. Importantly, the ending is okay. So now he stayed there, and everyone's greeting him as they walk in. So he's been staying there the whole night, and he's confronted by Randy, and basically, Clint's being all such a baby about being choked and whatever. Point is, Chad, he's had a rough night. I love Randy's being forthcoming with him, saying, "Well, look, Chad, you had a rough night. Let's talk about this more in my office." He's being really civil with him.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
And I love this. Just Chad again. He's kind of going after what he wants here. He's just saying like, he always has choice. I'm going to put up with this. Please give me the night shift back. Although he also like says, "Do this," or he basically kind of threatens to kill him. And he says, "Do you really mean that, Chad? No, please. I would like my shift back. Please give me my shift back." We have a really, and this is really interesting that I completely forgot about on the rewatch. I love how we parallel with some other Star Wars quotes. I love that Vader gets other characters' quotes from Star Wars, and it kind of parallels the stories from the original Star Wars films. Like importantly, here we have the parallel to Luke from A New Hope, where he says, if I love the heft with the delivery of this, by the way. It seems, again, it's ridiculous, but it's the heft of this. Of like looks over to Clarissa longingly. Again, we can't see his face, but he looks over to Clarissa longingly.
Well, you know what? I give props to the cinematography for that because, much like the original Star Wars, they do a good job framing the Vader mask in a way that gets emotion out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And he has this great line. He says, "There's nothing left for me here," which I love how that parallels Luke, because now, in a way, it's kind of a fun reversal of Luke, because Chad's now setting out, not on his own adventure, he's setting out for a downward spiral. Luke's setting, it's A New Hope, so Luke, he says, "There's nothing left for me here with Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen dead," so he ventures out for, like, hey, a bunch of nice space adventures. Vader, on the other hand, we get to the next episode, "There's nothing left for me here," and next episode, he's getting drunk at a bar.
And I just want to say, Dragon, this might not be so surprising to you, but this is my favorite episode of the season.
Really?
It's so ridiculous. And I think the delivery, it's just like, how often do you get to see James Earl Jones being drunk as Vader? And of course, I know it's not really James Earl Jones, but it sounds so much like James Earl Jones being drunk as Vader.
I like chocolatinis. Chocolatinis are my best friends, and they don't betray you.
Dragon, it reminds me of like the rare opportunity we got to see Miss Piggy under morphine in the Muppets. Oh, goodbye, Flying Giraffe. Goodbye, Space Cowboy.
Yeah, anyway, so here's our Christmas episode too. I think that's why I also like this. This is our Christmas episode. We start with like Vader playing with the snow globe. Mm-hmm. I like that it's kind of wintry like Hoth. I think that's kind of the idea they might be going for there. Like, okay, well, we're going through the movies. There was A New Hope. Now we're in kind of the second act in a way. We're in the dark parts, and then he's in a very downward spiral. So we're in kind of like the Hothy, second act of the whole thing.
Sure.
He's drunk on chocolatinis. He's facing, in terms of Chad's arc, he's facing these depression over life's disappointments. He's lost everything, quite literally. He lived for that story. He didn't lose, he quit the job. He lost the girl. And, Clint's being a big baby. He's kind of spying on the date, as he is. Clint's just, he says, look at my neck. He's like, fine. And Chad has reached the low point of this episode. Then he kind of goes over there, he's just stumbling around, and he's kind of bumps into their date. As he's talking to Clarissa, he says, "You stop being lame, Chad." He says, "Yes, Clarissa, I'm lame."
He's just so self-deprecating and pathetic.
Yep, I'm lame. And then he says, like, "I've had enough of you, of all of you here." And then
no one will be bothered by Chad Vader ever again. And he just kind of stumbles over himself on the
That's
way.
an actual fall, and he really hurt himself in that, by the way.
Really?
He hurt his fingers when he fell.
I can't believe it. I can believe it.
He bumps into the Christmas tree, so it's not a happy life day after all, folks. It's not. So
No.
now there is actually kind of a morbid element to this. Again, it's absurd, so it's kind of cushioning the heft of this, but still, it's fun, but it's you feel for Chad. Chad, when he says the last time you'll ever see Chad, he's contemplating suicide here, folks. It's not a joking matter, and it's around the holiday, so it's a Wonderful Life matter too.
Sure.
But at the same time, seeing this iconic character kind of standing over a bridge, it's kind of, just saying, oh man, Darth Vader, and It's a Wonderful Life situation. What do you know?
Yeah.
Never thought I'd see that.
It is kind of one of the more sad things that we get to see in the it's effective for sure.
I mean, again, you feel for the guy because when you care this much about him, they've done their job well so far that you care about him. Like, no, Chad, don't jump off the bridge. And he's having the visions of everyone, and then we have, I believe, one of your favorite gags.
One of my favorite gags.
Reference to the.
Oh, okay, right. Where it's like
A lot of
Yeah, we get all the flashes of like the various characters and how they'd react to him jumping off the bridge. I love how Jeremy, this is a dark joke, but Jeremy's just like, "Oh yeah, let's go! I'll jump right now." And
Yeah,
then
if someone jumped off a bridge with you.
and then who's the character that does the delivery on the
Well,
line?
it's just
I
some
like so
random.
much?
That's the idea.
Just some random guy.
It's
Okay.
an Empire Strikes Back fan of some variety. So,
Right. And he's just like, "Oh, you should totally have Chad say no as he jumps off the bridge, just like in episode 3." And I'm kind of that guy.
of course, it's in reference to that.
I like how. Yeah, I like how that's so. When you think about the time frame of when this came out, like that was way fresh in people's heads.
Yeah. Well, that, and of course, it kind of references the other thing you like to rant about, Tegan, that it's, again, he's wearing an Empire Strikes Back shirt.
Of course.
It's adding the no to other things from that film.
I don't even mind the Empire Strikes Back one as much as I mind the Return of the Jedi one is the one that really kills me.
Yeah. So let's see. So then we meet Ben, the ghost, not Obi-Wan, but different Ben, just kind of random ghost Ben, who was killed via drunk driving, and no, not in the way you think. He clumsily drove over the gas pump and blew himself up. Sad, but it happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love it. The ghost does deliver. The episode does kind of deliver an uplifting message of like you have one chance. And this is really kind of a nice little sentiment on this. You have one chance to live your life. Again, it's really nice. The ghost kind of Force Ghost of all things kind of deliver this uplifting message. Hey, you got one life, man. You got to live it.
Yeah, you're right. It is a really good message, and I do like how they use the Force Ghost. It's using the Force Ghost, kind of using all these Star Wars conceits in a very mundane kind of everyman sort of way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then we have I love this line from Chad before we get to the next one. So he says, "You got it, Ghost." Then we have the new job. So we see the end of the episode. The next one is that Chad is now he's going to work. He's finding a new job. So we're in episode 6, new job.
Mm-hmm. So, we just get to see a series of very bad jobs. I can relate to this, by the way. I can relate to this exact. Like, it's not even getting fired. It's more just like, yeah, this is obviously not working out.
I just love it's like the running line of like, Chad, I like they're being very polite. You say, Chad, it's not working out.
Right, for me, it's like, it's funny. It's like when I get into situations like this, like I had like a 1-day job selling newspaper subscriptions. That was the worst job I ever had. And I quit that job after 1 day. I was like, nope, just nope. I am not a salesman. I cannot present myself. No. Anyways.
So yeah, remember him finding a new job. Chad also has to find kind of a new identity when he does. So he's really trying to reinvent himself. It's kind of like he's going to get a new shot at life now.
Of course, as we see with the shot of him in the tie at the end of the last episode.
Yep. So we have various. Again, we have telemarketing. We have him working the copy machine. Does not go well.
In a very Kylo Ren style temper tantrum.
I love the pleasant thing that Randy gave him a good recommendation.
Yeah, that is nice. That is nice. You're right.
We have, he's working like a Mexican restaurant of some variety. We get in subtitles, and Chad also knows Spanish. I love this. This is the actual mayor of Madison. They shoot.
Oh, is
Madison
it really? Oh, that's cool.
The actual
cool.
mayor.
Nice.
He says, Chad, I love this too. Like the mayor, I'm sure that he agreed this because he could have a chance to talk down to a Darth Vader of some variety where he could say, hey, again, I know that Chad doesn't necessarily, like, he doesn't do a bad job, he just doesn't do it to the mayor's specificity. He says, hey, this task should have been completed an hour ago. He used the Star Wars quote against them. He says, you failed me for the last time. What do you mean? He says, it's not working out, Chad. Then we have then Chad is a cab driver. I think he's the most hilarious out of all of those. And then he gets Hal, again, the annoying goat's milk guy from before.
God.
It's like, I need to buy goat's milk. I know where the take. Gives him foil with directions on. I know where Empire Market's foil gives directions on foil. So basically, the core root of this thing, the root thing we got going on here, and as the Ben, the Force Ghost, kind of tries to tell him, as much as Chad tries to rejects his destiny, of course, is Empire Markets, he can't resist it. He has to go back. And we see everyone at the store, they're missing Chad. Clarissa's on Chad's side. She shows kindness to Jeremy. Jeremy's getting his hat knocked off.
And of course, Clint is just being oh my God, I have naughty words that I could say to Clint that I'm not going
He's
to.
a
Let's just say that. Yeah.
To quote the character, he's a diet version of he's a butthead.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So then again, Chad, I love this. Again, Tiki, they has some really good endings. So I love that Chad, takes a gamble at the end to get his job back, and
Dragon,
not,
every ending in this series is like a status quo changer, which I love. It's like just these 5-minute chunks, but they manage to have a lot of stakes in it, even though the premise is so mundane. It's great.
Yeah, like Chad goes in there. Tell me this doesn't sound, even if you never, assume you just watched one of these and just the ending of this is like, tell me you weren't intrigued by this. He walks in there, he says, "Oh, hello, Chad, how's it going? Randy, Randy, I'm not leaving this store until I get my old job back."
Yeah, yeah.
And episode 7, Trapped in the Trash. Yeah, this one kind of, out of all of them, I might be a little iffy on. It's we'll get to this week.
I think this one has some good gags in it, but yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I can see how it's not one of your favorites. One of the best gags.
Get the strengths and weaknesses on it.
Sure,
I guess.
Sure. One of the best gags is right at the beginning, and I love the loitering loophole that Chad presents to Randy. Now, as long as I buy something every hour, I can stay in the store. I've looked it up.
Yeah, that's great. I love the Clint name tag plan. I love that. It's just this montage of just Chad treating customers badly and kind of putting it all on Clint because it says, "Oh, my name is Clint, by the way." He just points to the name tag. Your baby is
so over the top, like pointing to the name. He's like, "By the way, my name's Clint, just in case you didn't know."
Like, I love this too. He's just saying like, "Your baby is ugly," and then he points. He just points the name tag. This is just great too. I love that we then see that couple with the baby going to Clint. They're like going in tears, like, "Oh, my baby is not ugly." I just love the reaction on Randy's face. Like, Randy, he really is. He's sympathetic. He feels bad.
Yeah, totally,
He's just trying to make. We're never shopping here again. He looks really. Oh no, you feel bad for Randy. So then let's see. So then. Then we have a really adult grown-up thing. It was really nice. For Chad has a little conversation with Clarissa, and he's saying, "Clarissa, what you did was not nice. You at least owe me the common courtesy of telling me." Basically telling me to my face instead of just kind of snubbing me with Clint.
Yeah, I sign off on that. That's a very good message.
And we get the trash compactor gag, which it's kind of.
It doesn't really. It's a. I'll agree. It's forced. I don't mind it as much as you do, I guess.
I'm saying I wish it wasn't trapped. I like that he goes in there first. I like that. Does it have to be? Like, could at least put like a heavy box on or something? Does it have to be he just can't open it?
Right. Yeah,
that's the one thing that bugs me. I wish there was more of an obstacle there.
Yeah, fair enough.
Then we have the mop gag is pretty funny. So we have a really cool ending here. So basically, Clint is on the case. He now knows what Chad's up to. He's going after him. And again, Wingstrom again. He's like, he's at Vader's side here, saying, I'm gonna. Oh, well, I know what to do. I'm gonna shut the lights off and everything. Oh, well, Jeremy, I don't see that helps. He just runs off the door. He's okay. Well, anyway, so then of course we end on this really cool Yoda quote where then the lights go out finally after the mop gag of a weird Jimmy says, "Well, I have to consult the mop," and the mop says, "Oh no," he says, "Oh no, I'm just kidding." Yes.
Yeah.
Then of course the lights go out and says, "Well, you think I'm afraid of the dark?" "Oh, you will be."
You will be.
Which is cool. I mean, if you're ever going to give Darth Vader a Yoda quote, that's what you do. In the darkness with the red lightsaber, and that's a good cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Then we have Chad fights back. It's probably the shortest out of all of them, honestly. Basically, it's one action sequence. So basically, this one has a real great full circle vibe, and I really love that about this episode. It all boils to a head with this fight, because again, we saw the beginning, the first episode ended on their face-off, not ending well for Chad. Now again, Chad's fighting back, and he's coming full circle. He's going up against Clint. In the beginning, I'm sorry, go on.
Oh yeah, I was just about to say, I love the note it goes on where Clint is just kind of like, he's kind of got the upper hand, and he's just talking so much shit about Chad. It's just like, "You're a loser. You're a loser because you suck, and I hate you, and you're a total asshole." Just awful stuff, and Chad, he's kind of buying into it. He's right. I'm a failure.
It's like Chad Vader's the Charlie Brown of this thing, and he actually calls him Charlie Brown at some point in the first season. By the way, he calls him Charlie Brown.
But of course, I love, like you said, with the full circleness, like everyone just rallies behind Chad in this moment. Of course, we get Jeremy just like, Lord Vader, I believe in you.
Yeah, it's kind of. I love this that it's at the beginning. No one respected Chad, and at the end, everyone's like rallying for him. They're all behind him. Even the mayor, Tiki. Even the mayor.
I'm the mayor, and I believe in you.
And then I love this. I love this as he uses the force to toss a lemon at him, and he says, and this to me, Tiki, I don't know, it's so ridiculous, it's so juvenile, but it's so darn cool how he defeats Clint here. And I love this line that kicks it off. If there's a lemon, is that all you got? It's all I need. And then he tosses a whole bunch of lemons. Here's what I love most about this. Again, it's a little juvenile, like this is how you defeat your guy, but it's really fun. Here's what I love most about it. I love that it's. I love that it all boils down to the introduction. Again, him getting that fruit in his hand from the intro.
Sure.
That's what defeats Clint. That's what defeats the bad guy. I think we saw the awesome little thing of fishing wire from the intro, and it's kind of a fun reference to Attack of the Clones with all that flirting with the fruit. He defeated him.
Oh no! Oh god!
No, but seriously, think about it. He used like the most you never in a million years would have thought. They would have again. They made that work. They made the fruit. They made using the force moving fruit work.
Yeah. No, you're right. I won't deny you that.
I mean, that's cool. So then, basically, after it all works out, and we have this. Okay, again, so this bit is the more juvenile but cool bit at the end, where then he threw Clint on the. He crushed the produce stand or whatever, and he pulls out the lightsaber, and he's genuinely terrified. It's fun to see the bully get the comeuppance, folks. And he's like, "You're an animal," which is so over the top. It's so hysterical. Who's the butthole now? I'm the butthole. I'm the butthole. And it all works out in the end. He's just talking to Randy, and he says, "I think he had mental problems." And importantly, this sets up seasons 2 and 3 with the whole Clint's father owns the store, but also a corporate chain a corporate chain buyout is in the air, which could lead to some changes.
I just love how it's just like, well, that explains a lot. that is so damn real. It is a sad but true fact about corporations, Dragon. Just seriously. The worst people can come into power because of who their parents are.
And it's also kind of a nice little kind of subtle setup for the other seasons. And again, it could be fine even if they didn't go into it, but if they do, again, they have some footing. Like, okay, we got some stuff looming, some storm clouds looming.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want, I'll get to it in the strengths and weaknesses. But anyway, so Clarissa wants him now, and we see at the end, Wickstrom is force sensitive because he's moving
Which is great. That's a wonderful cliffhanger and end on.
Okay, and that's episodes 1 through 8, and let's just quickly go through strengths and weaknesses.
Okay, lastly, I just love the mundane, I am most displeased with the current lack of produce, and we need to tighten the security in the dairy locker. All right, so really quick strengths and weaknesses. Strengths, like we were saying, it just takes such a mundane concept and gives it such so much stakes to it. Love just the idea of it all.
The voice of Chad.
The voice of Chad is wonderful. Yeah, just absolutely. The voice of Jay. Without the voice of Chad, it would just all fall apart, I think.
Jeremy is great. Jeremy Wickstrom is
totally.
It's very economic with the time. The Chad Vader arc, as we kind of went through right now, again, I think it's really nicely woven arc. Again, it has some good development. Again, it has those makes use of the time. It really complements the arc very well. The day-night structure of it all. Because think about it, this goes about the course of a week is all the time this goes through. Like, it takes a week to find the other jobs. We have the day, and then directly after that first day, it's one night. It's one day, one night, then a week.
Right.
The night shift stuff is hilarious. That's my favorite stuff in first season. There's a heart to it. There's a great heart to it, along with a lot of fun comedy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
And the full circle quality is really nice. The Star Wars parallels to Chad's journey.
The way that they use the quotes, in the quotes directly, just makes so much sense in the context.
And as I mentioned before, the force fruit trick that saves him in the end, which again is just one reference to the intro, but also kind of a reference to the whole flirting with Padme.
Okay. that if you say so.
I was saying, I'm just that's a coincidence, I know. But
Yeah,
think about it.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
It's kind of fun. So weaknesses, there are not a lot of weaknesses. It's mainly what all of these fall under from. It's all subjective humor. It's just whether it tickles your fancy or not, which we've been through with Gallivant.
I would say probably the goat milk guy is just a little too much, in my opinion.
That's fair. Let's see. Again, Clint can be a little over the top in places.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, I get that that's the point of his character, but it's like, oh god, he's such a jerk.
Yeah, I think some references like the trash compactor are a little forced.
I can see that. Yeah.
The ghost exit gag, that was the weak sauce to me. Like how he had
it was. Yeah, you're right.
He couldn't just disappear and I'll admit the was an improvement, but still, like the
Yeah, I don't know. I don't necessarily think the ghost was the most well-conceived character in general.
Yeah, but it was a way to get a false ghost.
I guess so. It's just like there's literally like I don't know, but
Let's see. The last thing I got really, because again, it's not really a lot of ad stuff with this thing at all. It's just the last thing. This one's just more like a missed opportunity. I would have liked to see Chad get the girl in the end, but in the other seasons he gets more girlfriends. That's the thing. But I'd like to Clarissa though, and I kind of wanted to see him end up with her. But they had a really mature thing at the end. Like they had an acceptance of a friendship, but then again, she kind of went back on that. So I kind of still wish he got with her.
Right.
All right. So final thoughts.
Wait. Vader, Rogue One.
Well, no, I thought we were gonna save it for the end.
Oh, I thought we were going to... Are we? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess final thoughts. I mean, I've kind of said my piece with it. It's just a very, very enjoyable series. Like you said, very economical this time. I don't have much to say about it, honestly. That hasn't already been said. Just like it a lot.
The first season, it's the best of the four, in my experience with it. It's simple and enjoyable in the humor and story. It's again what I said in the very beginning. It's true to the likability and the appeal of the Darth Vader character, and this is just one of the most recognizable of the Star Wars fan films for a reason. It's humble, it's harmless. There's like you see some love in it. You can see some like there's a real handmade quality to it. It's all really nice. It's all really wholesome. It's all really it's Darth Vader. It's a relative of Darth Vader's in the grocery store. How can you not just be have a little chuckle like a little ain't that cute?
Okay, so let's just finally round it off with some Vader hype then.
I mean, folks, we're gonna see Darth Vader, not Chad Vader. We spent our time with Chad Vader. We love him to pieces, and he's a member of the Vader family. But still,
Chad Vader showing up in like Guardians of the Galaxy.
I would like to see that. We're going to see the actual, folks, we're going to see the actual Darth Vader again. It's been 11 years. It's been 11 years since we've seen a Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be one of the only acceptable prequel premises. It's going to be in the 3.5 vein, which I've been waiting for a 3.5 sequel for a long time.
Sure.
Well, like a film in between 3 and 4.
I honestly have more reservations about Vader than a lot of people do going into this. I'm not don't get me wrong. I'm excited to see what they do with it. Of course, when we see him on the big screen, it is going to be a moment. It's going to be like, oh, there he is. It's like it is going to be one of those hair stand up on the back of your neck kind of moments when you see him. But Dragon, I hate to do this with directors. I hate to kind of typecast directors, but I am terrified that with Gareth Edwards, we're going to get to see Vader literally do like one cool thing, and that's it. Like he's in the back.
One, Brett Ratner.
Yeah, I know, Brett Ratner.
Secondly, folks won't get that reference, but just trust me, I'm just reminding Tiki of something that he regrets. Secondly, let me say this, Tiki, would that be the worst thing though? If they use Vader smartly, we get glimpses. All we really need are glimpses of Vader. I'm not saying those. I'm saying if we a little bit of Vader. I'm not saying specifically glimpses. I'm saying if we had like just the right amount, like Vader in a less than like we could have. In theory, we could have had this in without Vader. Vader makes it all more better. Like, hey, we can. Technically, you don't need Vader for the film, but having Vader in there, like he could either be in a very like he's the direct pursuer of the rebels, or he is just the guy overseeing the pursuit of the rebels.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, it's like, hey, we're getting Vader in a capacity that makes sense, and if we're lucky, we're going to end on Vader kind of like linking up with the movies.
Yeah, I guess. I just like I don't want to overhype it too much for myself. I guess is what I'm trying to say. I'm just kind of trying to keep my expectations in check for it.
And whatever we do get of Vader, what we can say in terms of just kind of expectation, I think the end of that ought to be.
And I honestly don't really think like whatever we get of Vader is like guaranteed to be awesome either.
Well, I think, again, regardless of how it goes,
Yeah.
what we are going, what I think we can agree on is that what we're going to get, just the initial glimpse at Darth Vader, the first time we see him, that glimpse at Darth Vader will be enough to excite billions of Star Wars fans. Just that,
That's
again,
exactly what I laid out, Dragon. I'm not going to deny that the first time we see Darth Vader on the big screen in 11 years, it's going to be a hair standing up on the back of your moment, and we all know it.
and I think that just this series and also just that notion of us seeing Darth Vader again is a testament to his impact, and as it just that sensation of like being excited just at the thought of seeing him. It's kind of a testament to his impact after all these years, and as is his oncoming appearance in Rogue One. It's gonna be a dazzling thing, just like the thought of hey, we're gonna see Darth Vader again. It's gonna be cool.
Yeah, for sure. Looking forward to it. Okay, so Dragon, I guess that is it. Thanks for joining me. This is going to be one of the last podcasts we do before I'm off to Disneyland for a week, but we have one more to do, so we'll get to that. But Dragon, do you have any particular quotes you'd like to end out on? Not to put you on the spot or anything.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. God. Wait. I think I have an idea. All right. I'll go with the cheap one.
Okay.
A dog.
A dog.